Chapter 7, Verbs, Non-Finites. A. Finite and non-finite verbs. Verbs can broadly be divided into finite and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs are verbs that change according to the tense, time of action, the number of people doing the action, singular or plural, or the person, first person, second person or third person pronouns, doing the action. Let's see how the form of a finite verb changes. Read the given sentences. Amita painted a picture. Amita paints a picture. Amita will paint a picture. Amita is painting a picture. In the above sentences, the verb paint changes according to the time of action. Now, read these given sentences. Rita paints a picture. Rita and Meena paint a picture. In the above sentences, the verb paint changes according to the number of people doing the action. In the first sentence, a single person does the action. So, the verb is paints. In the second sentence, more than one person do the action. So, the verb used is paint. Now, read the sentences given below. I paint a picture. Pronoun I is in the first person. You paint a picture. Pronoun you is in the second person. She paints a picture. Pronoun she is in the third person. In the above sentences, the verb paint changes according to the pronoun used as the subject. With first person pronoun I and second person pronoun you, the verb is paint. With third person pronoun she, the verb changes to paints. In all the above examples, paint is a finite verb. Now, read the sentences given below. I walk to the entrance gate. I walk to the entrance gate. I am walking to the entrance gate. They are walking to the entrance gate. He is walking to the entrance gate. He was walking to the entrance gate. You can clearly see that the verb walk changes according to the tense, number of people doing the action and the person, pronoun, of the subject. So, the verbs printed in bold are finite verbs. A non-finite verb does not have tense. It does not change its form whatever be the time of action, number of people doing the action, singular or plural, or the person doing the action, first person, second person or third person. Now, read the following sentences. I like reading. You like reading. She likes reading. He likes reading. They like reading. She liked reading. In the above sentences, the verb reading has not changed with the time of action. Similarly, whether she, singular, or they, plural, is the subject of the verb, reading remains the same. With pronouns I, she, they, you, first person or second person or third person, the verb reading does not change. So, the verb reading is a non-finite verb. It is important to note that in the above sentences, the verb like is a finite verb because it changes according to tense, person and number of subject. B. Kinds of non-finites. Non-finites, infinitive to verb, gerund ing form of the verb, functions like a noun, participle ing form of the verb, functions like an adjective. C. Infinitives. An infinitive is a non-finite verb that expresses an action. It is generally preceded by the preposition to. Sometimes, it is used without to and is called a bare infinitive. Read the given sentences. It is easy to learn French. This is an ideal place to play. He wants to buy a new car. In the above sentences, to learn, to play, to buy are infinitives. They are verbs which are in non-finite form because they do not change with the change in tense or the number, singular or plural, or person, first person, second person or third person pronouns of the subject in a sentence. Examples: I want to learn French. She wants to learn French. They want to learn French. They wanted to learn French. In the above sentences, to learn remains unchanged though the tense, time of action, or the person and number of the subject changes. The verb want is a finite verb, so it has changed in every sentence. We generally use the verb plus to infinitive with the following verbs: agree, forget, hope, promise, decide, fail, learn, plan, refuse, offer. Examples: I forgot to make a call. She hopes to win a prize. He learns to play the guitar. I agree to guide you. We use to infinitives after verbs such as seem, appear and claim also. Examples: the sea appears to be calm. The stranger claims to have met you earlier. She seems to have improved her skills as a singer. The following verbs are also followed by the to infinitive, usually: beg, help, want, would, like, would, prefer, ask, expect, would, hate, would, love. Examples: he begged to be forgiven. She wants to apply for leave. I would prefer to take antibiotics now as the other medicine is not effective. The verbs given below follow the pattern: verb plus object plus to infinitive. Forbid, order, remind, permit, advise, encourage, allow, force, invite, warn. Examples: he advised me to visit the dentist. The boatman forbade the boy to cross the river. She warned her not to touch electric wires. I advised her to work hard. D. Bare infinitives. Read the given sentence. I saw her cross the road. Here, to is not used with the verb cross. The base form of a verb is used within a sentence. Bare infinitives are used after modal verbs can, might, should, etc., after perception verbs hear, see, feel, etc., with the verbs let, make and do, and with the relative pronoun why. Examples: the clown made us laugh. We can help him decide the date of the function. The verbs cross, laugh and decide are bare infinitives. E. Uses of bare infinitives. The bare infinitives are used after some words as a complement of perceptions such as feel, hear, know, find, watch, see and so on. She heard him shout with fear. She saw him leave early. As a complement to some expressions such as had better, would rather, sooner than, rather and so on. I'd rather work hard than give up, usually after the words why and why not. Why not take a bus? Why complain? Often with expressions but, except and help. She helped me find the house. He will do anything except cheat his master. After modals such as shall, will, should, can, might, must and others. She must leave now. We shall accept the invitation. Note: a bare infinitive is also used after than and after but when the word but means except. He can better act than sing. The lady did nothing but complain. We often use the sentence without to after these following verbs: bid, dare, need, make, let. Examples: let me leave or I will be late for the meeting. My tutor made me do the exercise again. She daren't use her elder sister's geometry box. He needn't wait for her as she will return late. We use dare and need with to infinitive in affirmative sentences but we drop the to in negative sentences. Examples: very few swimmers dare to cross this river. Affirmative: she needs to be looked after. Affirmative: swimmers dare not cross this river. Negative without to: she need not be looked after as she is very independent and is fine now. Negative without to: we can also use the infinitive without to after these expressions. Rather than, would rather, had better, sooner than. Examples: he would rather drive down to the market than walk so late at night. She was offered the job. She would sooner join than sit idle at home. We are getting late. We had better leave now. He will work rather than beg. F. Use of to. To: he was so tired that he could not go any further. We can rewrite this sentence by using to pattern. He was too tired to go any further. The dress is so beautiful that she cannot give it away. The dress is too beautiful to be given away by her. Infinitives can also be used to join pairs of sentences. Joining pairs of sentences using infinitives, we take the more important of the two sentences as the main clause and convert the verb in the other sentence into an infinitive. They won the competition. They were excited. They were excited to win the competition. She goes for a swim every day. It is her habit. It is her habit to go for a swim every day. He will get the news. He will be shocked. He will be shocked to get the news. We can use to and enough. To. The toy was very big. It could not fit in the drawer. The toy was too big to fit in the drawer. The toy wasn't very small. It could not fit in the drawer. The toy wasn't small enough to fit in the drawer. G. Infinitives can be used to make sentences compact. Sometimes, infinitives can be used to make sentences compact. Examples: Mohit hoped that he would score good marks. Mohit hoped to score good marks. He should work hard if he wants to succeed. He should work hard to succeed. He did not know whom he should call for help. He did not know whom to call for help. H. Gerund. A gerund is a verb that ends in ing and functions as a noun. It is a verbal noun and does the work both of a verb and a noun. Examples: jogging is a good exercise. Fishing is his hobby. In the above sentences, the words jogging and fishing are used as gerunds. These words will not change according to tense, number or person of the subject. When you ask the question, what is a good exercise? The answer is jogging. It is doing the work of a noun. So, it is a gerund. Examples: he likes jogging. You like jogging. They like jogging. He liked jogging. The verb jogging does not change in the above sentences. It is a non-finite verb and is called a gerund. The verb like is a finite verb that changes in the above examples. She is jogging in the park. Here, is jogging is a finite verb. Now, read the following sentences where the same verb has been used as a finite verb and as a gerund. She is dancing on the stage. Finite verb, dancing, is her hobby. Gerund, the following verbs are usually followed by the ing form, the gerund. Finish, can't help, stop, dislike, avoid, go on, enjoy, miss, suggest, give up, continue, mind, put off, keep. Examples: I enjoy listening to music. Please stop talking so loudly. Some sentences follow the pattern verb plus preposition plus ing form. Examples: they always think, verb, of, preposition, going on a long trip, ing form of verb, he should apologize for breaking the vase. Sometimes, we use be plus used to plus ing form of a verb. It implies a person is used to something and it is no longer new for him. Examples: he is used to sleeping on the floor. She is used to traveling by metro. I, participle. A participle is a verb that is used as an adjective and often ends with ing or ed or n. It is a verbal adjective and does the work of a verb and an adjective in a sentence. J. Present participle. Read the given sentences. The twinkling stars were clearly visible. Sparkling diamonds look marvelous. In the above sentences, the words twinkling and sparkling act as adjectives because they also describe the stars and the diamonds. The ing form of such verbs are called present participles. K. Past participle. Read the given sentences. The skilled craftsmen were present at the exhibition venue. The doctor was looking after the wounded boy. In the above sentences, the verbs skilled and wounded are past participles. They are verbal adjectives because they act as verbs and adjectives both. They also describe the craftsman and the boy. Past participles end in ed, n, d, t, or n according to the words used. L. Perfect participle. Apart from the two kinds of participles described above, sometimes we also use a perfect participle. Example: having won the match, the team went on a holiday. This sentence means that after winning the match, the team went on a holiday. We can use participles to join sentences. Examples: Amita was in Delhi for 5 years. She worked as a teacher. Amita was in Delhi for 5 years working as a teacher. He was in the studio. He was painting a portrait. He was in the studio painting a portrait. Rita is a trained dancer. She performs well. Being a trained dancer, Rita performs well. The more important sentence is taken as the main clause, and the verb in the other sentence is changed into a participle. If two things happen simultaneously, we use ing for one of the verbs. Example, she felt thrilled. She began to dance. Feeling thrilled, she began to dance. When one action is done before another action, we use having perfect participle for the first action. Examples, they played football. They went home. Having played football, they went home. We boarded the train. We settled down. Having boarded the train, we settled down. Misplaced participles. Participles function as adjectives and refer to certain nouns or pronouns. Participles must be placed correctly to convey the correct meaning, and they should refer to the correct nouns. Misplaced participles can make a sentence look odd, and it can make a sentence absurd and awkward also. Examples, being confident and talented, film directors approached him. Since he was confident and talented, film directors approached him. In the first sentence, it appears that the film directors are confident and talented. This is incorrect. The second sentence conveys the correct meaning.